Okay, today's Thursday, July 3rd. It's 8:36 p.m. When I first started on this journey, I had no idea what subconscious involvement played into day trading. All I could do was uh, scratch and uh, and uh, and get upset at something that was invisible. I could look in the mirror, but I could not see it. I cannot see the subconscious. Unbeknownst to me, there's a thing called the dollar sign. Now, the subconscious is smart enough to know what a dollar sign means. And so it knows, and it becomes an overwhelming distraction. Uh, and I could not get it fast enough. And then if I get lucky and then I somehow win once or twice during the week before losing everything, then I feel like I was doing the right thing. Unbeknownst to me, that subconsciousness had these dollar signs that were just floating around in my mind, and it was interfering with trading. To put it in a very, very simple term, to put it in a very, very simple statement, all I saw in the market was this. Okay? It was just this. I couldn't see anything else. So when I initially started for many, many years, just until recently, okay, the only thing that I saw was this. I saw all these things, but it looked like this. Okay, just the graph that looked like from point A to point B was going up. Everything looked like that. Even when the market was dropping, when bad news hits the Dow and then it would just start to like drop, the only thing I saw was this. Even if it was going down, I said to myself, "Oh, it's gone down so much, it's got to go back up." Okay? So I would buy and I would lose. So what I made last week, I would put into it and lose, and then take whatever I made from washing dishes, I would just dump it into it and lose it. So so as recently as a few months ago, the only thing that I saw was this. Okay. Then I started to see. Okay, even there's this called the four phases of price. Okay, four phases of price. So there's a consolidation. Okay, there's a thing called consolidation. There is this thing called uptrending, right? What is it called? Uptrending or something like that? Let me just double check again. It's called an uptrending or something like that, right? So essentially, there's an accumulation, markup, and then distribution, and then markdown. But at the beginning of it, the only thing I saw was something called a markup, which meant that it was just going to keep going up. Even if it was going down, I thought it was going to keep going up. I had no strategy when it was doing this or this or this, but I only had this strategy. So when the market was doing this, it was fine. I was making money. But as I can see, one, two, three, 75% of the time, the market was doing something else. Even if it's doing this, it would dip a little bit and then go, and then I would lose here, right? Because I had no clue. I had I had dollar signs floating around in my brain because there would be certain cases where I would risk it a lot, and then I'll be perfectly in sync with the market, and I would make money. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, I sold it way too soon. It could have been 10x, 20x, or 30x, but it wasn't. And so for a long time, it was like this. Okay. That's the only vision that I had. Now I see a little bit better. I see, I now see, I saw this. It's like a market cycle. These are the four stages of price movement, and it's called a market cycle, right? It accumulates. That's why when price sits at this level for a very long time, it's like consolidating. I mean, it's it's buying up everything to make a huge move. Okay, it's getting ready, just like just like the period right before a Fed announcement, right before the FOMC, right before. Okay, something is about to happen, but it's sitting there, just like that, and then a markup occurs. Okay, the price appreciates based on positive news. It'll go up, and then as it goes up, there's going to be some serious amount of like soaping up of like of interest in buying. So there's going to be a lot of selling, and then there will be at a certain point where there will be uh, absorptions of whatever the macroeconomic news was, and then it'll start to drop because there's going to be less buying than selling, and it'll start to move in the downward trajectory. After the distribution, is going to be a markdown. But because the dollar signs were there, I had no clue. It was always like a sawtooth kind of a situation. But now I see why it was doing that. It was a combination of just being blinded by the dollar signs, and then only being able to see this part of it. This is what I had in my mind, and everything else just fit within it. It's amazing how the mind works. My mind works. My mind bent everything. Even if it was going down, it just twisted it and made it into this. Even when I was losing money, it just made it in this way. My mind did that. Now I see it after 5 years of losing everything. After 5 years of losing, I'm beginning to distinguish between accumulation, a markup, a distribution, and markdown. Uh, I have no idea how I am a representation of the 95%, but it seems to me my mind is capable of making sense and twisting it into this in any manner, whatever happens, I can twist it into this particular situation. For instance, let's say it drops like 10%. I'm thinking to myself, wow, it's dropped 10%. It can't drop anymore. It's got to go back up. So I would buy long again. Then it'll drop another 10%. I'm thinking, well, this time for sure it's going to go up. I mean, it's 20%, right? So my mind is able to find some reasoning behind these things that always keeps it like that. It seems to be it seems to be it seems to be very uh, it seems to be it seems to have something to do with the dollar sign. It just blinds me because it just mentally reprograms whatever the external world is doing. That's the way that my mind worked. Okay. Now I don't know how. Maybe it's maybe it's maybe it is maybe it is because I was able to maybe it is because I was able to uh, defeat the addiction. Okay, maybe it's because I was able to overcome addiction, and that seems to be the reason why. Whereas those dollar signs were just blinding me, just detaching me from the true meaning behind everything that was presented to me. So everything that I listened to, I viewed, I studied, uh, all the chart information, whatever it was, it just did not register. Everything that I saw was just telling me this. That's all. It was just telling me this. It's like it's like this Peanuts cartoon where the teachers are talking in an ineligible manner, and the children are picking it up as an ineligible, uh, ill. Is that right? Ineligible. Okay, ineligible. They could not understand what the teachers were talking about because it seems like it was that way. Okay, it seems like the people who are talking made absolutely no sense whatsoever. It didn't make any sense because it was being filtered through these dollar signs. And when it filters through the dollar sign, it scatters, and even the truth comes distorted. And then that distortion in my mind pieces it together into something like this. That's why people. I think that's the reason why novice traders, they hold on to these losers for a very long time because they're saying, "Oh, it's down 80%. It's got to go up now. It's got to go up. It's for sure now." Okay, it goes down to 10%. I mean 90%, and then going, "Oh my God, it's even more. I'm holding on to it longer." Years will go by, right? Whereas that could be recycled to make something better by selling it earlier with a smaller loss. Okay, just making a correlation between what the market is doing and what the result is, and matching those things together and saying, okay, well, I've done this, but this is the result. I've done this. This is the result. My mental configuration for that does not. It seems to be not matching up. Okay, the data is doing this. The data is saying this, and my mind is making it up. Okay, that's what's been happening. That's what the dollar signs do. So I had to make a YouTube video on it because it seems to me for the past 4 to 5 years I've been hiding behind those dollar signs, and those dollar signs keep me from seeing the data. It's like I think it's a human behavior as well. Apparently, people who are abused in a marriage, um, they feel they feel that they feel like they're obligated to fix this person who's being abusive, whereas they should be cutting their losses and exiting that situation as soon as anything, any hint of any type occurs, then that relationship needs to end at that moment. Okay, but it continues because they have this mental block that cannot see this person because they only see themselves. They're unable to see the data and the results that have been accumulating for a while. Okay, it's like I've been having lunch with this Christian Christian, okay, of different denomination, once in a while, and I sometimes what I would do is like, well, this guy's being very forceful. I'm a Catholic, and he doesn't like me being a Catholic, and so he's trying to convert me or something, right? Then recently I figured out, oh yeah, that's what this guy's doing. He has no respect for Catholics. I thought. So in my mind, I was twisting it, not seeing the reality of what the reality is. Okay, I was being blinded. I was blind because I was only able to see myself. I wasn't able to. I wasn't able to escape from my mind to piece together the data to come to a conclusion. So for many years, I saw the dollar signs, and I believe that's why 95% of the people cannot become profitable because they're the addictive part twists everything to get everything, and then will not allow the mind to see the data. The 95% needs to look at the data and make a conclusion and make that connection. And then as soon as that connection is made, a change can occur in the mind. Whereas the mind only sees it this way, okay, because it does not know the sophistication of how the market moves. Okay, that's why this guy named Al Brooks, he's got he's got hundreds of videos. I mean, he's got hundreds of videos. Some of them are, it ranges from 30 minutes to like almost an hour, right? It's a different variety and different perspective of how to see the market, so that I can tool myself. I can change my mind, convert those dollar signs into a sophisticated solution to look at the data and then come to the right conclusion about what the market is doing. That seems to be the thing that is separating between the 95% and the 5%, because the 5% are able to see the data, make the conclusions, and know what to do with it, instead of only being able to see this.